Game number 1, another best of 3 series, everybody, in the second round of the first qualifier for the Heroes International. And we got washed up now. Mixed team between the players of the Hardos and Team Wah. And on the other side, the red team, they thought it was time to go for some drastic measures. So, Khaldor is our first map. Again, Heroes International is a tournament where the teams will qualify for an offline event in Miami that takes place in the middle of October. So if you haven't heard about this yet and you want to check the dates out, if you want to have additional information about it, where exactly it takes place, if you're thinking about going there, shaking hands with the players, and just experiencing the offline event for yourself, you can check the information out all there. I'm also going to add a link to the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, and keep in mind that you can also support the event. There is a GoFundMe that is associated with this, and every single donation that comes in will be matched by our sponsors. We're actually Heroes of the Storm fans, so private people that are just Heroes of the Storm fans that want to help to build an event like this and to make it as big and successful as possible, and they are going to match any donation that comes in through the GoFundMe, so pretty much doubling what we can then use to get additional casters in, to up the production, get some additional cameras to show you with the roaming camera what the players are doing and so on and so forth. But again, if you are living in the area of Miami, or if you want to organize a trip, feel free to also stop by. The event takes place on the 14th to 16th of October. It's going to be pretty awesome. 3 European teams, 3 North American teams, and 2 Korean teams. One of them already qualified, Tempest qualified. A lot of the big names from the days of old are there. A lot of former HGC players. And one of the top teams from Europe, and the team that everybody expects to take the first tournament, is washed up. Now they're playing here with Banana Age, with Hazu, with Dequaza, Nick, and with Masquerade. So a lot of players that you recognize from other teams too. I mean, again, sometimes with an event like this, you have certain players that can't just make it to the offline event for multiple reasons. Being it an exam, if you're a student, or you just can't take time off work, so some of the teams rearrange. And the same is also true for Drastic Measures. I mean, a lot of the names there should ring a bell. Obviously not exactly in that constellation. Right now we got Dehaka as the first pick. And on Cursed Hollow, when you look at the bans, it's pretty heavy focus onto the front line here. We got Blaze already banned out, Hoga has been eliminated. And as you can see, also Johanna. Brightwing and Genji. In the old days it would be the Genji Brightwing dive bomb that you could go for. These days you're usually a bit more worried about the combination with Anduin. This was also a map choice by Drastic Measures. Every single time I see Cursed Hollow by a team that I'm not quite familiar with yet as a 5-man, I'm immediately thinking, is there anything that he could throw in there that is specific for Cursed Hollow? I mean, it's a big map, globals play a big role here. You can make certain macro plays that you wouldn't be hard-pressed to pull off on other maps. But now that we have Sylvanas and Dehaka, this is more something that I would expect from Washed Up. You can side lane push with Sylvanas, and then you have Dehaka more or less in the same situation too. So the Rega gets banned. Another one that is great for taking camps. One of the things that really surprised me also with the Korean qualifiers, and I want to highlight that here again because this is now the 3rd match that we're casting from the first European qualifier, is the difference in priority that the teams have for Greymane. Now, in Korea, Greymane gets currently picked pretty much all the time. Whereas in Europe, Greymane sees occasionally some gameplay, but nowhere near on the priority that we're getting from the Koreans. So one thing to definitely keep a bit of an eye on, especially when we're then talking about the event in Miami. But the ban on Mirrodin, very heavy frontline bans during this one. Okay, and what are we getting with a double pick here for Drastic Measures? What's Blake gonna play? Ah, Nubarak and Sonya. That's aggressive. I mean, likely gonna go Wrath of the Berserker, but if you go Leap with this, I mean, then you can jump on the same target with 3 heroes already. If you include Brightwing, that's 4. So yeah, that's a very aggressive start right there. Okay, but with the final 2 pick, Nick hasn't chosen yet. Hammer is up. Are you playing Hammer on Cursed Hollow though? I mean, you can 4-man someone and send Sylvana on to the other side. There's Thrall, and we get Karazim. Alright, so the triple front line. Thrall is getting played by Nick, and we got Banana and Karazim. So a lot of aggression on all sides now. And the final pick, as we're headed for game number 1 in the best of 3 series here at qualifier number 1 for Europe, for the Heroes International. Drastic Measures, they still need a hero for no game, no life, unless, of course, they are putting him on Genji and swap heroes. But their final pick at this point is Hanzo, the brothers united. And we go into game number 1. Game number 1, Curse Solo, and Hazo finds himself on Sylvanas, Banana Age on Karazim, Dequaza on Dehaka, Nick on Thrall, and Masquerade on Diablo. On the right side of the map, we currently got Drastic Measures with Splice on Sonya, we got Warren on Brightwing, Mr. Aim on Genji, Mr. Game on Hanzo, and Blade is playing Inuburak. So for Nick we get on level 1 the Rolling Thunder. And yeah, this is also a pretty interesting composition if you're thinking team-wise. I mean, it's pretty much the French and the Germans united. So, an interesting one for sure. 3 Frenchies and 2 Germans. It seems like the beginning of a joke if you ask me. But it is the beginning of a top lane push, as the red team is trying to do the exact same thing down at the bottom of the map with Blade spawning beetles to be soaked up here. Now, top side, this seems to be a bit more successful. Since the first tower is down, the second one is also getting eliminated, and they're just going completely overboard with this, thanks to Sylvanas. But yep, here we are. Sylvanas and the boys, they're going for it. They're taking the entire wall and gate down, and they're not stopping there. It's gonna be a run for the fort, everyone. Splice with Sonya is trying to get a hit or 2 in, but at the end of the day, that fort is already down to 50% HP. And they're even trying to go for Sonya, and they nearly got her, but Brightwing faked the move. Either faked or get interrupted here, one of the two. At the end of the day, the result is the same. The fort goes down, and as you can tell, down at the bottom of the map, they just barely started. So now the question is simply, how does Wash Up react? They're already rotating over. Dequaza is soon going to get some help here, but just from the get-go, it's a race between the two teams, and now that Masquerade is approaching this, Brightwing has to help Genji out. It seems that this fort is not going to be destroyed though, so definitely a win for Washed Up already this early in the game. So yes, they get the upper hand. Bit of a unfortunate situation for Drastic Measures. They were trying to go for the race, but yeah, they kind of lost out on it. The battle on the other hand still goes on, and they get Diablo. So first blood for the red team. Nicely done. And they're going to get that fort after all. Takes them a little bit longer, but the result is the same. There is an advantage in the mid lane though for Washed Up, because they were able to take another tower down. So everybody's just going for structures. Just take the structures down. Level 4 on both sides. On top of that, we now have the Legion of Beetles on level 1. Inuburak specking a little bit harder into that. Hanzo has chosen to go for the ignore all distractions. We get the slam build for Sonya. And the game starts to calm down a little bit. So we're back to just simply aiming for mercenary camps. But yeah, very aggressive by both teams. And that accelerates the game, of course, a bit. If you're taking structures down this early in the game, then yeah, you can accelerate all of this quite a bit. Now, we have, of course, these bosses coming up, and it's noteworthy that it really depends a little bit on which team gets which boss, because if you can send it on route on a lane where your opponent doesn't have a fort any longer, then this is going to give you good value. Normally, Washed Up is going to focus on the bottom boss, of course, where the fort is still standing, but just something to be aware of, because the team could capitalize on that if they win a team fight at the right moment in time. Now, they are going for these pressure plays that I highlighted a bit earlier. They got Dehaka at the top and they got Sylvanas at the bottom, so you have 2 heroes that can push these lanes a bit. Banana Age here, with his frozen snowflake. Yellow snow. I've been warning about this time and time again, but nobody's listening to me. Stay away from yellow snow. Dehaka, topside now against Sonya, but down here they get the kill. Nick is dead. Nick gets eliminated. Well done. And that was also sweet timing, because the tribute is spawning and Sonya has a bit more time to do damage in the middle, as she is together with that mercenary camp that they claimed earlier, dropping the entire wall. Diablo is also eliminated. Hey, Drastic Measures with some good kills. Not bad. Washed Up needs to be a bit careful here. Yeah, that is not the opening that I expected. Roughly a level lead, 3 kills to 0 for the red team. Fair, structurally, Washed Up didn't do too badly early on, but now with Sonya pushing the mid lane, that changed things a little bit. So, are we maybe gonna see an upset here? Is that a possibility? That wasn't too shabby. It's a tribute against the tribute. Each team has one right now. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be wild. I mean, a lot of the teams obviously specifically formed for the tournament here. And there's at least a couple of players that have HGC experience here. But it would be more than wild if Washed Up would have significant troubles against Drastic Measures. That's not a team that you normally have on your list when you're talking about like a top 2, top 3 in the tournament. But who knows? If they are able to synergize well enough in these fights and drop a few more heroes, they might just be able to snowball this a little bit. Right now, the third tribute is popping up. Level lead is not enough to get them closer to level 10, but they're trying to dive in for Nick, and the coordination is not too bad. With Genji moving in, they might just get that kill. The heals are there, and it's not enough to drop Thrall, but they got close. They got very close. And Genji, he needs that cooldown, and he needs it quickly, or he's gonna go down, but he's able to escape. Now, as all of this happens, Sonya is just saying, alright boys, I'm gonna take this. Thank you very much. And she's gonna get that. Maybe she's gonna get punished for it, but Splice has claimed it. So that's the second tribute in the hands of Drastic Measures. Not too bad. Cocoon is out, the early level 10. They're trying to force the fight here. But they can't do anything with it. Genji wasn't there yet either, but they have a very big lead now in experience, as you can tell. And they use it to go for the boss. So, gotta give those boys some credit. That's not a bad start. With Hanzo, even without the level 4, they can still do decent damage against the boss, and they take that one down within seconds. Top lane, there's still a fort, but there's just no chance for Washed Up to take their own boss at the bottom of the map. Quasar, he's still controlling this. He's bringing them back in experience, and they're gonna get level 10 for that fight. Tribute is up, and blue team has to meet that, or they're gonna get cursed. Sundering is in. Apocalypse, lot of stuns. If coordinated well, they have a lot of wombo potential. Big arrow, big swift strike, and a big kill. They get the kill, they make the play, and they might even get another one. What is happening here? Drastic Measures with some drastic kills, and guys, that's gonna be a curse. They're gonna curse them right here. The choke point was absolutely beautifully used by them. They easily got the stuns in, and then Genji got so much damage in that situation. 5 kills to 0, and they're just diving in deep. They want to go for Masquerade, punish the Frenchie, and they take him down, they take his baguette away, and that is the end of Diablo. Diving in, going for the keep, up at the top. The boss obviously doing even more damage, potentially taking down the fort here. The minions are dropping the one in the middle. The one at the bottom of the map has obviously been taken down earlier, so that's not even something that they have to contest for. But now they're going for the keep. Like, what is happening here? Drastic Measures with them drastic plays at the beginning of the game. And with 6 kills to 0, they're aiming for keep number 1, 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. This is getting crazy. They are crushing it. Absolutely crushing it here. Arrow is out. Alright, a couple of hits been had, and the keep is gone. Keep is gone, all the forts eliminated, the keep is destroyed too, and Washed Up is in trouble. If they thought that they're gonna get an easy win here, then they were thoroughly mistaken, and so was I. I expected them to murder this, absolutely murder this, and instead what we are getting is a bit of a reality check. That is rough. Washed Up struggling? When this team started to form, or when they announced, okay guys, this is the team that we are going to compete with at the Heroes International, everybody was like, oh my god, they're going to rock it, they're going to crush everyone. Now they're playing the first game in this particular series, and they're falling behind with 6 kills, a level behind, and they've lost all of their structures. Doesn't mean they can't win the game anymore. They're obviously the way more experienced roster, but that definitely begs the question of how well they can perform against not only Drastic Measures in this best of 3, but also in the upcoming series, if they are able to get there in the first place. Arrow is out, Sundering is being used, and the Nubarak is dead. The boss is taken. by Washed Up, and they get 2 kills. They lose Sylvanas, but they get the kill advantage. For Drastic Measures, it was really important to keep the pressure up, and they did their best trying to accomplish that, but they lose the boss battle, and now they're also going to lose no game, no life. Hanzo is dead, 3 kills to 7. Finally a few kills for Washed Up. Was about time, but boy, that team fight, if they lose this one, if they lose that team fight in the boss, then they might be dropped there. That might be too big of a gap for them to bridge. Now as it stands, they are able to claim their way back into the game. They are on even experience again, and they did some work here. But wow, that is definitely a way different game than I expected. Alright. The question is also if Drastic Measures really needed to go for that fight. I mean, I guess they really felt that they needed to keep the momentum up, but honestly, at the end of the day, did they need to take that battle? I don't really think so. They could have played this a little bit safer. As is, there is a boss up at the top in another minute. Splice is not making the mistake to venture out too far. It was a bit of a high-risk, high-reward play from Drastic Measures, and again, they are still ahead thanks to the keep that they took down. That alone is big. But tributes are popping up again. They can fight for the objective. A bit of scouting is happening there too. Missing out on most of this. Genji on the other hand, he sees what's coming. So he's jumping in. We still have Brightwing and Sonya up at the top. The Haka can join that bottom fight whenever he wants to. It's a little bit more difficult for Drastic Measures. Brightwing is still positioned here in the middle. Genji jumping in and can't get it. So it's 2 tributes against 0 in favor of Washed Up. Another one and they get the curse against the red team. Very, very interesting first game between the two of them. For sure. The damage output here from Hanzo at 36,000. 17,000. That's the top damage that we are seeing for Thrall. So if you compare the damage numbers here, boof, Washed Up, nothing to write home about. Both teams with level 16, and that gives us epic enter for Anubarak, so that he can epically enter the opponent's backline and try and prepare a kill for the opponent's team. Big talent for him. Huge. And for Thrall, what we're getting here, we got the Tempest Fury. So, on the other side, Will of the Forsaken for Sylvanas. Here comes the Tribute. Masquerade getting immediately pummeled. They want that kill. The arrow! And they get the kill. They get the double kill, and somehow Genji is still alive. I have no idea how Genji survived, but they got the double kill against Sylvanas and against Diablo. Not too bad. They take Karazim down too. That's a triple, baby. And they can go for boss and for, of course, the tribute. So yeah, once again, Masquerade, he gets caught, and the arrows that we're seeing are great. Look at Genji, by the way. How the hell did he get out? He came in with the X-Strike, saves his own ass there, and then just like swipes out once more. Now, the boss is taken, the tribute is also claimed, 10 kills to 3. This is just nasty stuff here. This is definitely not what I expected. Kudos to Drastic Measures. They're playing a great series right now, and it seems that their Quasar overstepped too. Their Quasar also goes down. They dove deep to take down Hanzo, and Warren came in with Brightwing, and they turned it around, and the Haka dies. Nicely done. Yeah, that one was pretty sweet. 11 to 3 kills now, guys. They have a 1.5 level lead. This is looking better and better for Drastic Measures. This late in the game, it's going to be much harder for Washed Up to come back, especially since Brightwing is channeling a second tribute. So they're opening up the top a little bit. So that's one of the walls gone. With one keep destroyed, exposing the rest of them is rough. Very, very rough at that. Level 20, yeah, 1 level, and Drastic Measures has it. It would be a big advantage if they can keep it at the 2-level gap. Yeah, 2-level gap with level 20. They could go for bosses, they could go for tributes. I think the next tribute alone is going to be such a big deal, because it's going to be another curse. And just imagine for a moment that the red team takes curse number 2 as well. And they should have level 20 by the time. Guys, this is really bad for Washed Up. I mean, really bad. So, I'm honestly... I think Washed Up is in real trouble here. Boss up in 5. They need to think about that level 20. They got the vision now. As soon as anybody... Yeah, they're going for the tribute at the top, as it seems. They just trade for... They trade? What? They trade for the boss, or do they really want to try and take both? They're taking a couple of risks here. Now, the boss at the bottom of the map is going to be taken for sure. But they are giving up the tribute. I don't think they should try to interrupt this. I have no idea what they're doing. I have no idea what the fuck that was. Why would you do that? Taking the boss, I get it. But after you already know that you can't, that they are topside, why would Genji go in again like this? I don't get it. Like, I don't really understand why he sacrificed himself there. That made no sense to me. Initially trying to posture topside and tell them, hey, listen, we're going to fight for this, and then go for the boss. If that is your decision and you are just trying to defend against the curse, I can accept that. I'm okay with that. You think you can get the bottom keep, you can defend against the curse, you're waiting for 20, I mean, maybe. Personally, I think it would have been better just to use the level 20 advantage and go for the curse, but that's a variation that I'm on board with. But sacrificing Genji the way that they did, I don't think that accomplishes a whole lot for them. So now they gotta move away from this one. And yeah, they are gonna lose another one. Drastic Measures is throwing this. They're currently in the process of throwing this game. Now, the boss is going to likely get that keep, so that's big, that's huge. But staggering deaths this late? Now, they lost 2 forts. They're losing... well, they lost 1. They lose the second one in the mid lane now. But yeah, this is a little bit wild. So right now, I'm not so certain how this is going to play out. Because this is the chance for Washed Up. They got level 20, and now they can bring this back. They lost 2 keeps. No, let's not sugarcoat this. Drastic Measures still is 2 keeps ahead. That's big. But they can't just stagger deaths like this. That can't happen. They need to really play this late game with, yeah, with a little bit of a brain. They gotta think this through. Because they can win this. And I honestly don't know if they are as shocked as I am. But they can really win this. They are very much so ahead, still. And they get a kill on the Haga. So, yeah, that, I mean, again, it doesn't get much better than that for them. They are playing a fantastic game. They make a few mistakes here that I don't understand why those happen. But generally speaking, look how well they're playing these team fights. They're obliterating Diablo, and this might even be game. They're looking for another kill. They might get it here against Hazorps. Sylvanas is about to go down, bolts away, and now they can still march towards the core. I mean, guys, this is a 5 versus 3 push that they have for the core. 30 seconds for the Haka. 13 kills to 5. Despite the mistakes around the 3rd tribute and the boss there, they are now in a position where they can win game number 1. Drastic Measures with an absolute baller game 1 that they are rocking here. It's really impressive. Now, the defense hasn't given up on this yet, but the shield is down on the core. They're trying to get another kill, of course. So far, it hasn't happened, but it seems like there's also nothing to do. This one's going down. This is game. This is a lead for Drastic Measures in this best of 3 series against Washed Up as the blue team gets a big reality check. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
I'm speechless. Garden of Terror is the second map, and I am looking at the scoreboard. Drastic Measures is ahead. Half the time I forget the team name. They formed specifically for this tournament. Blade the other day was talking in one of the players' channels on Discord, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for a team, like, who wants to play, who's still looking for somebody to make a 5-man and participate. And I mean, he found one. But I looked at it and I was just like, alright, these guys, maybe, you know what, they might have a chance to go for the 3rd spot in Europe. And now they won a map against Washed Up. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, even if Washed Up now comes out swinging and wins 2 in a row, that is an impressive start by Drastic Measures. So they are definitely on the map now for the European qualifier. If they can practice a little bit more, no matter how this goes now, but if they can actually improve a little bit further, if they can really just get in. There's 3 teams from Europe that go to Miami, and I already said in one of the previous series that at least one of those teams will be a team that has pretty much little or no offline experience, and I am very excited to see who takes that 3rd or even the 2nd spot. But currently in qualifier number 1, I am impressed by what the red team has done. Now, can they win a best of 3? Very, very different question. But there is also no losers bracket here, so that's another thing that we should point out again. So once that we're having the last 4 teams of the tournament, once that we're moving on to the semifinals, there will be a losers bracket. So we want to make sure that the best teams qualify from each region, so there will be a losers bracket later, but in the earlier rounds there's none. So whichever team loses here is out of the tournament. And Drastic Measures has now 2 match points. And Washed Up, I don't know, boys, but you gotta step it up a little bit. You can't just simply rock up and be like, yeah, we're the boys who won pretty much all the tournaments in the last 2 years, so we're going to murder this. No biggie. And I can guarantee you that they are going to try hard this a little bit now. Okay, so we got Anubarak banned. They didn't like that aggressive dive comp from Drastic Measures. Brightwing is also eliminated, as is Lucio. But it's an interesting ride. Can you imagine Washed Out dropping out? That would be nuts. Not only for qualifier number 1 and to see who makes it, but also for the second and the third qualifier, because that mixes up everything. No matter what you expect, which team takes qualifier number 1, Washed Up was one of the teams that you... I mean, anybody that has any Heroes of the Storm knowledge in Europe and is sane would have said, yeah, they are going to... They're going to reach the grand final. If they're going to take the spot, we'll see, but they're going to reach the grand final. And now, we could see a massive upset. And I'm here for it. No matter what happens here, this is going to be fun. So, Hogger gets first picked on Garden of Terror. Hogger is a fantastic first pick here. Garden of Terror is a massive map, and what really matters here is that you also have very good control over the mercenary camps, which is why Hogger is oftentimes banned, and if not banned, then very quickly claimed. So yeah, that's pretty big. Now, we got Muradin, we got Hanzo. But when it comes to camp control, Washed Up already has the lead. This is, by the way, not their map choice. They went for first pick, first ban. Masquerade and Tyrael. Now keep in mind that there's a chance that Nick is actually swapping it out and playing Tyrael himself. Could happen. If or not, that's a different question. We'll see. But yeah, where are we now? Where's the next ban? What are they gonna get rid of? I mean, Banana H hasn't picked a support yet either. And here we are. Sylvanas is banned, so no more side pressure by this. And what are we now getting as the final ban? I'm really curious. I'm still waiting for a little bit of an X-Factor pick maybe on the side of Drastic Measures. It's their map choice, so if you are already going into a map like Garden of Terror, which sees a bit more play lately, then I would expect you to really have a comp nailed down that you have high confidence in. And the Haka is eliminated, so one of the globals is being taken out. 2 globals are taken out. If you still want one, you could go for Brightwing. Or Rock the Vikings, of course, if you want to go all in with it. It's just wild. But yeah, they did a great job. It was good synergy that they had. Good coordination. Team composition worked out well for them with the aggression that they showed. So let's see what they're pulling off in the second game. We got Uther and we have Tychus. Okay, so Hanzo Tychus for the damage. We're still looking for a side laner for them. Urel is still up, Leo is up. Probably the most attractive ones right now. I'm still missing one in my head though. And on the left side for the blue team, what we're gonna get for especially Hazu. Or are they swapping one of the heroes around? There's the birdie. Falstad is in and we get Malfurion. Okay. Malfurion in the house. Got Falstad for the global. Can also disengage together with that. Question with Masquerade and his Tyrael is of course also a bit what he's going to take on level 10. We've seen quite a lot of Judgment plays. I would still assume that in this case we're going to get Sanctification, unless they really are thinking that they can take somebody down. But if you have Uther with a Divine Shield, I highly doubt that Tyrael would risk that. We get Sonya, so Muradin and Sonya with Tychus and Hanzo. Guys, the stage is set. Game number 2. Match point number 1 for Drastic Measures. Let's see if Washed Up can bring it back or if the red team advances to the next round.
The battle begins shortly, heroes.
Game number 2. tryhard mode for Washed Up. They gotta buckle down here and dig deep. Hazorp's on full stat. We got Nick on Genji. We currently have Dequaza on Hogga, Masquerade on Tyrael, and Banana Age on Malfurion. On the right side of the map, Splice on Sonya for Drastic Measures. We got Warren on Uther this time. Sia is playing Tychus, No Game No Life on Hanzo, and Blade is playing Muradin. Alright, the stage is set. Here's their chance. Drop Washed Up and move on to the next round to get a bit closer to a ticket to Miami. Level 1, we got the Agile Dismount here. Washed Up, of course. They really gotta concentrate now and ensure that they force game number 3 of the series. It's always a bit wild to play on this particular map. Garden of Terror, but let's see what they can pull off here. Definitely interesting. Very, very interesting. And obviously, it's also a question for us just in general, looking at Washed Up right now. Was it just a fluke? Was it just that they caught off guard a little bit, that they took the game not too serious, or what exactly happened there? And it's not only something that we have to think about for this particular map, but also just in general, how strong is this team? How strong is the blue team? If you look at the players, then of course it's like, oh my god, those are some of the best players that we have in Europe. But we had at the same time multiple teams in the past where you throw good players together and it turns out that they just don't sync properly. And then they lose games. And already Hogga dies. Hogga gets caught down here and that is first blood for Drastic Measures. So that's very big. Washed Up. Maybe they're missing that one leader that is making sure that everything works together and is coordinating things for them. Right now, they have to prove that they're able to make this lineup work. As it stands, we have a 1-0 kill advantage for the red team. And camps pop up on the map, which is where immediately everybody is starting to jump onto. Dequaza with Hogga is going to have a huge responsibility for that, for the blue team. But yeah, it's super, super interesting. And again, it's all about the offline event, right? It's all about Miami. It's all about which teams make it there. 3 European, 3 North American, and 2 Korean teams are gonna go to the event. And again, if you are looking for information, if you watch this on YouTube, there's gonna be a link in the video description that you can check out. And also make sure that you double check on the crowdfunding. If you would like to help us make this event bigger, get more casters involved, make the production better, and also, of course, help the players maybe even start going for another one. In an ideal world, of course, we would try and set something like this up every year. Then check out the crowdfunding. And as mentioned before, every single donation gets matched by an equal one from our sponsors. And if we end up with a surplus, then it's going to charity. So yeah, definitely something that you can have a look at if you want to support the Heroes of the Storm esports scene. There we go. First seed is in. Already a little bit of jumping around down here. Blade with the missed Stormbolt. Let's see where they can go with that. Yeah. Masquerade. They're all just trying to take position to also being ready for an interrupt. But there's the Stormbolt. On point, I might add. Grenade a bit too late, but Blade low, and he is still alive. Question is for how long, if he gets the cool... Oh, great interrupt on the cool, on the jump. Nicely done. Yep, that could have been problematic. If he gets that jump off, then he's safe. But that's a kill against Muradin, so the main tank gone for now. Sonya is still at the top, so they're not really fighting for this one too hard. The first seat is in the hands of Washed Up. And top side, we got Splice still doing a bit of work here as he escorts a few more minions in. The battle at the bottom of the map still continuing. I mean, they're still brawling. They're still going for it. So right now we got the bigger they are as the level 4 talent. And another little fight here in the middle. Sonya again going for the battle rage as she already did in the last game. So level 7 talent locked in here. We got the swift retribution for Tyrael. And talking about Tyrael, he is sitting up at the top. Just waiting for Sonya to poke out a bit too much. Talking about poking, it seems like Dequaza is going to get poked a little here. They got 2 stuns against him. First a Stormbolt connected, and then Warren came in and dropped the hammer. But it didn't lead to a kill. On the other hand, up towards the top, they ganked heavily on Sonya, and that is kill number 2. But I guess at least Tyrael is going to pay for that. So 2 kills to 2. Next seed is coming up. And it's kind of wild, I like it. So they're really just going for aggression from start to finish, both of the teams. But Washed Up has been a bit more successful in gathering experience. They are closing on level 9 and half a level ahead, with Hogger pushing the bot lane even further and leading to another tower being destroyed. And even the gate is getting opened up by him. So, yep, he is doing a work here. Now, we have the next seed popping up now, and that's the second seed of the game. Camps are continuously being claimed. Everybody is fairly diligent about them as best as they can. And Muradin is not risking anything here. So it's like, yeah. The second I see them coming, I'm just jumping out. I'm not going to get ganked here. But given the position of the seed, seems highly likely that Washed Up walks away with the second one. And yeah, the channel is already there. Banana grabs it. Muradin was thinking about getting close for an interrupt, but yeah, it was too late already. So level 10 abilities are kicking in next. It's going to answer at least a few questions. Of course, the potential for even more stuns, I suppose, on the side of Drastic Measures, but also we've seen a lot of Haymaker lately. Like, a lot. Here comes Sanctification, we get the Shockwave. No more surprises from Washed Up. And when it comes to Drastic Measures, now that the next seed has just been announced, we have the Arrow, Avatar for Muradin, all survivability, and Leap. Leap for Sonya. So we get some aggressive engage. Sonya is getting ready. There's one stun. They go for Malfurion. But the arrow's a little bit too late. It still connects, but it doesn't connect with Malfurion. So if the goal was to just unload everything onto the old geezer in the back line, then it kind of failed for them. They used a fair amount of cooldowns here and only baited out Tranquility. But that could be something that they can pull off later. Arrow stun and then also Sonya to get a quick hit in. Divine Shield had to be used to keep Tychus alive. Good coordination by Washed Up as Nick was trying to go for the kill. But this is an important seed. We're talking about the first Garden Terror wave. And Falstad as a global has pushed out the top lane a bit. Sonya, on the other hand, has done the same thing in the middle of the map and is getting even more damage in on those structures. But they're starting to catch her, and that's another one. 3 kills to 2, Washed Up, pulling a little bit ahead as they take Sonya down and have a big opportunity here to get the Garden Terrors. And yes, they do. And already at the top, the Siege Giants with a lot of damage here. Tychus is moving in for this, but this is gonna hurt. Very early in the game, we're still only 7 minutes in, but this is definitely going to hurt a bit. They're gonna lose 1, maybe 2 forts here. I guess the one in the middle might fall. Bot lane is gonna be destroyed 100%. Not so sure about the middle. Depends also a bit on how fast Sonya and Tychus are topside. If they can rotate in time towards the mid lane and help the teammates out. But the damage is there. And they're zoning them away with X-Strike, trying to go for Blade. Good arrow from Hanzo, but a bit short distance. The Sanctification helped them, though. Bottom fort is gone. Oh! Another hit, another kill, another stun, and Hogger down. Hogger is dead. The fort's still suffering, but they might still be able to save it. And Muradin also jumping forward as he's hoping to land another Stormbolt, and he does, but it's a bit too late to put Nick into real danger. Fort in the mid lane, still alive, but down to the bottom of the map. Falstad is helping the Garden Terror out, so the goal is to at least get some damage, and they open the wall, and they might also get at least one of those towers, maybe even a second one, so decent damage for the first objective by Washed Up. Not too shabby. They're gonna get both towers, aren't they? Yep, both towers gone, and the commitment towards the middle results in the next fort destroyed, and Uther going down. This is more the Washed Up that we're used to. Still decent play by Drastic Measures here, but they are of course losing ground here very quickly, as you can see. They lost every single fort, and they are now also behind in experience. That level 13 talent, pretty impactful as is, and it also leads to some of these camps being stolen. Not only that, of course, it was also the fact that Uther is down, and without your support you just can't engage into a prolonged team fight with your opponent. This is not happening. 21 stacks now for Falstad. And a much better start for Washed Up. The favorites, they've stumbled in game number 1, but it seems like they're slowly stabilizing again and coordinating this a bit better. Yeah, Falstad, of course. Hazu gonna play a big role here throughout the game. It's a massive map. If you have a global on a map like this, you are eventually going to run a bit of an advantage. So, as you can tell, 4 kills to 3, not that big of a gap. Next seed is going to be the first seed for either one of the teams. So both are currently sitting at 0. Yeah. And they're going to get at least one camp. There's a double camp at the bot lane, by the way. Yeah, we're talking about a mercenary camp, bruiser camp, and a siege giant camp. So Sonya is going to try and deal with that. But we have 2 of them already here. So this is super interesting now. Somehow somebody has to deal with that. She just jumped. Sonya just went for a leap. So she missed that. Which means that that's one ult that they don't have. And Sonya is right away rotated down to the bottom of the map to save the keep. Which means that this is a freebie. This seed is free. Yeah, they will be able to take that. Hanzo is now helping Sonya out, but given the experience, given level 16 that will approach in a moment, there's no way to take this. Unless somebody YOLOs. Falls dead with a gas, Sanctification, and Warren is maybe even getting... No, he's not getting out. He's dead. So they get the Uther kill, and they're also going to get the seed. Blade tried to interrupt, but the hammer was soaked by Masquerade, and now he himself might be in trouble. And he gets another one out, but the situation is still the same. 1 seed towards Washed Up. They got those kills, and now they are more than a level ahead. We have on level 16 the Heretic Reforging, cooldown reduction, always big, and the Afterburner, which also allows Hazo, well, not only to get away, but it also allows him to reposition a little bit differently during team fights for one of these gusts, which is at the end of the day what he's going to try and do a lot here. So... That last gust in particular was pretty sexy, if you think about it. I mean, it helped them to get the Sanctification off and really make a big play for a kill. Arrow, they saw that coming, but that was beautiful timing. And it's a kill on Malfurion. That one was fantastic. That was a great arrow. They saw that coming and they still couldn't do anything about it. Just check that one out. Have a look at this arrow. So they were forced into the choke point, no other way to retreat. The beautiful timing from Hanzo, and then they could follow up on Malfurion, and he's just too squishy to live through that, and they got the kill. Now, they are also getting caught here as Falstad moves in from the side and they drop Tychus, and they might also now lose Uther, so it's not really helping them in the long run. Another great gust that might lead to even more kills. Divine Shield and Hanzo is moving out. Good job by Warren to at least keep one of his teammates alive. Hanzo needs to be a bit careful here, because I don't think he accounted for the fact that someone is going to flank him. And yep, he's dead now as well. Nick gets the second kill after he just dropped Uther. Now they take Mirrodin down, and this is going to be at least a keep. Yeah, only Sonya survives, nobody else. They're going for the keep down at the bottom of the map. Malfurion is starting to join them soon. It's only the second seed, so not prioritizing that. I don't think they can really snowball it towards the core and take the game here, but they can definitely take the keep, and that in and of itself is already a huge win. Deny vision a bit by eliminating those side walls. 9 kills to 4 and steal a few of the opponent's camps away. Good stuff. Washed Up now with 39,000 damage on Genji. Top damage dealer in the game, followed by Hanzo. The Shimada brothers, as usual, establishing themselves up at the top. But this is now the second seed, so we're talking about another Garden Terror wave for Washed Up. I mean, up to this point, that's 5 seeds in the name of Washed Up, and 0 for Drastic Measures. Absolutely 0. So, with 1 level to go until level 20, yeah, this is going to be tricky for the red team to bring back. They need to go for some real drastic measures now. They need a beautiful leap from Sonya, a combo with the arrow, and in an ideal world, connect that with Malfurion to take the squishy boy down quickly, and then try and chase a few more heroes. That's kind of what they have to do now. The best target is either the birdie or of Malfurion. One of the two. They're both squishy, both easy to kill, if they can stack those stuns. Now, there's a camp at the top, a camp at the bottom, and there's another seed now on the map, and Washed Up is nearly level 20. The arrow connects, there's the leap! They try to go for the bird, and they can't get him. Divine Shield or no Divine Shield, it doesn't matter. Sonya gets attacked, she tries to turn it around again, but Tranquility is already in. Level 20 talent soon. Look at Genji, he moves top. He wants to push this towards the keep. And now they have the level 20 talents. The core is going to get attacked in another moment too, since we have catapults and the camp at the bot lane. And Falstad, he wants to go for the camp while all of this happens and claim the next siege, which is going to give them more garden terrors. Core gets attacked a bit, but only loses part of the shield. The keep at the top lane then again suffered a lot of damage, and with the garden terror they are going to shut this one down now. So yeah, this is a disaster here for Drastic Measures. Map number 1, big victory of course. They played it well, but now Washed Up is definitely showing a very different performance here in game number 2, as they are denying the first match point to Drastic Measures and force the third map. I don't think there's a doubt anymore that this game is going to end in favor of the blue team, especially now that Khaldor survives even that encounter against him. Yep, there's a sanctification. The core is already losing hit points. Nicely done. Washed Up with the victory in game number 2 against Drastic Measures. They force the third map in this best of 3 series. Game number 3, Infernal Shrines. Washed Up showed up. We get the third game now to decide which one of the two teams advances to the next round. So yeah, Drastic Measures with a fantastic victory in game number 1. Not quite able to make it work on Garden of Terror. Now, they changed things up a little bit. Now they are the ones that have first pick, first ban, and instead it is Washed Up who has the map choice. So that's the next one. But yeah, match point number 2 for Drastic Measures, I suppose. I'm really kind of excited. Honestly, even if I said it before, but even if Drastic Measures now drops out, that team is now definitely on the radar. So very much looking forward to see what they can pull off in this tournament, in the second tournament, and if it comes to it, the last chance qualifier. Because there's quite a bit of a potential. If you can take a map of Washed Up the first time that you play against them, and the first time when you play a tournament in 5 versus 5, then pretty much kudos. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Anyways, but double support being banned, getting rid of Lucio, getting rid of Brightwing. We also got a Hogger banned out on Infernal Shrines. Personally, I really expected them to go for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Whenever they were playing in well, not Washed Up, but when we had, I mean, to be okay, now that I think about it, yeah, it's a mixed team, so maybe they just don't like Tomb as much anymore. Whenever we were talking about the Hardos, then it was always Tomb and Towers that they were heavily prioritizing, but right now, yeah, not so much. But yeah, either way. So what are we going to get as the first pick? 3 supports, by the way, banned. Yep, 3 supports. Okay, we get a Blaze first pick. And the good one for Infernal Shrines too. And there is Leo. I shall suffer. With Hanzo, played by Hazu, apparently. Okay. Hazu Obst. And let's go. Yeah, I mean, AoE on Infernal Shrines is always big. Anything that can help you to stack towards the objective is nice. Which is one of the reasons why I generally like Vala here with the multi-shot build. Played well, she can have a massive impact, but Junkrat is up, so he gets taken. Malfurion also taken again. What's Malfurion's win rate today? He won the last one. He lost a couple of the games in the previous match. Didn't really pay too much attention to it, but I think he's pretty much at a 50-50 right now. But yeah, either way. Malfurion, definitely a hero that I'm looking at a bit more, especially given the priority of the Koreans. But one of the big differences that I highlighted in previous games, and I want to also highlight it again here, is that the Koreans are totally obsessed with Greymane right now. Whereas in the European scene, as you could see with the games throughout the day, we haven't seen him once. So he gets played occasionally, especially when we're talking about Battlefield of Eternity. He every now and then appears in the draft. But generally speaking, not a hero that a lot of teams are looking at. And by the way, another one that I didn't really talk about, the Koreans really love to play Bloodlust on Rhaegar. Not exclusively, it's not like it's the only talent being picked, but they are taking Bloodlust more than they take Ancestral. Whereas in Europe and the Western scene in general, it's pretty much Ancestral all the way. Yeah, just a little bit of food for thought here as we're talking about like regional differences and what's going on with all of that. Okay, so we got the double pick, and that's Muradin, and we get Deckard Cain. Yeah, hit him with a stick, baby. The old man is in. And on the last two, what are we now getting on the front line? Who's up? I mean, right now you can pretty much pick and choose. Diablo is still available if you want him. You can go for a couple of neat stuns over here without any problems. But they go Tyrael. And there's Vala. Again, I talked about it earlier, so they have Vala, likely a multi-shot build that we're going to see. Tyrael and Blaze, the double layer of defense. You get the bunker, you get the sanctification. Junkrat for a little bit displacement. Malfurion in the house. Vala can just like carpet bomb the entire shrine and everybody that sits on it. And yeah, last but not least, Nick. Are we going to get some special pick, or is it something more on the usual side? Again, this is the third map, so they got to be careful here. They go for the hammer time. First time that hammer gets now played by them here. But yeah, eventually it had to happen again, of course. If anything, I was surprised that it took them so long. Hammer wasn't really banned. So guys, it's game number 3. The winner moves on to the next round of the tournament, which is the semi-finals, when we're also starting with a loser's bracket for the teams. Whoever loses here drops out of the tournament. Infernal Shrines, map number 3 at the Heroes International Qualifier for Europe. Game number 3, washed up against the Drastic Measures. Hazops on the hammer, Banana H on Deckard Cain, Masquerade on Muradin. We got Nick on Hanzo, and Dequaza on Leoric. The German-French team right now with the hammer time. And of course played by a German, the Germans and the Panzers. You guys know why French tanks have a rear view mirror? So that they can see the front lines. On the right side of the map, Drastic Measures with Blade on Tyrael. We got Splice on Blaze. We got Cassia on Vala. No Game No Life on Junkrat, and Warren on Malfurion. So it's the multi-shot build, as we already expected. Carpet everything in the area, try and get those stacks, get the damage, and absolutely crush the opponent. Now, they played a very aggressive game on the first map. The Anubra composition that they played there worked incredibly well. Now the question, of course, is that they can repeat that again. But either way, down to the bottom of the map, it's just basically a bit of a mix here. Hammer at the top, of course, has to still be careful. You want level 7 for her. That's pretty important to make that work, so that you have at least a bit of mobility. Malfurion, talking about mobility, right? He is just barely getting his way out. Bird boy. Honestly, Malfurion should really been committed to some kind of asylum. Like, if you run around with like feathers and stuff the entire day, I mean, it's not even feathers. What the hell is this? Like, are those bat wings or something? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, if you're like running around with antlers and all of this stuff, I mean, something is definitely wrong with you. So that's a real wild combo that we have there. Going full Wolperting on us, apparently. But anyways, we got topside, Sergeant Hammer getting way more damage in as I actually expected. Because the entire time I was thinking that it would be a 1v1, but yeah, Hazu was alone on the lane for a little bit. And one of the things that you should never do is leave the hammer alone. So yeah, that didn't work. But anyways, now with level 1 we get the advanced artillery. We also get the Sapphire here for Deckard Cain. The man appreciates his gems, and Malfurion it's stunned and is somehow still able to get out. Okay, that looked for a few moments like you would see first blood now. Level 4, the regenerative biosteel for Sergeant Hammer, so Hazu is adopting Nick's build again here. Couple of stacks for Vala now too, as she heads into Arsenal as a second talent choice. And for Leoric, we got the Paralyzing Rage on level 4. And also the Sledgehammer for Muradin on the next level. Aggressive comms again from both teams here. Stacks on multi-shot are gonna play a big role. And I highlighted this in previous games, and yes, I said before, but I'm gonna say it again. What really surprised me in the games of the Koreans is that they don't wait for level 7 around the shrine fights, which is normally what you do in the European meta. Once that the shrine is active, the team that thinks they have the better shot there makes a play for it, but nearly everybody leaves a hero on the side lane to try and get experience for level 7 so that they have a talent advantage. And that is happening a lot. Now there's obviously a lot of AoE for Drastic Measures, so they're trying to get a bit ahead, but you can already tell that we have Sergeant Hammer down at the bottom of the map, we have Hanzo at the top. Of course, there is also the added factor that especially Sergeant Hammer benefits greatly from level 7. But in the Korean meta, you see people just full on 5-man once that the shrine appears. 7 or no level 7, they don't care. Whereas here, both teams, while they're fighting 4v4, are still trying to go for level 7 talents. So that is still a thing. Right now, we have, for Vala, a lot of opportunities to get some stacks together, as you can tell. Cooldown here would be nice. But Blade is low. So is Muradin, but not low enough that it becomes a problem for him. And Vala still getting away, but has to be very careful with Muradin just threatening her time and time again here. Stormbolt is dodged though. Nicely done. Yeah, another big hit. 15 stacks now. Doing well. But with 32 to 24 stacks on the team side, Washed Up is going to claim the first Punisher. Arcane Punisher is in the house. Arcane Sentries. Yeah. Yeah, with the Arcane Sentries, every single time I see this, it reminds me of Diablo. Obviously, there's only one way to play Diablo, and that is hardcore mode. Anything else is boring, honestly. Anything else is just boring. If you play Diablo and you want to have some fun, you play hardcore mode. But this is the one game where I'm still going to check out what Blizzard is doing. Diablo 4, a little bit darker, looking a little bit better. We'll see if they make this a good one. I'm just worried that they're going to come in with like tons and tons of microtransactions again, but if they are at least for one last game going for the last hurrah and producing something nice, that would be pretty awesome. But yeah, when it comes to esports, definitely not. Yeah, that's what Stormgate is going to be for. RTS coming back. Now, we have a couple of adjustments already on Tyrael that we probably talk about. So you can see the Divine Vigor and also the Purge Evil here. So he might actually go Judgment with all of this. I mean, first off, he dies. But I expected Sanctification and him also going into, well, Sanctification and then Bunker on the side of Blaze. But this particular build is what usually Nick and others are going for when they're playing with Judgment. Not so sure if we're going to see that here, but he's definitely playing a more aggressive style with him now. So, there's that. Now, either way, we got the Hot Pursuit in on level 7. Bog Down is there too. And all the way up at the top, Leo is still pushing, but there's level 10 coming into play for Washed Up. And that changes everything. So, right now, they got the Stay a While and Listen. And they got, well, already a play against Tyrael. Stay a while and get wrecked. Bye-bye, Tyrael. He's dead again. And a nice arrow. And boom, Junkrat gets popped in the middle of his jump. So that's 2 kills that they locked in. In total, 3 now for the blue team. And the bot lane is wide open for some serious damage on the fort. And this should drop the entire thing. So that fort is down. But we have for Tyrael. Make your choice, baby. What's it gonna be? I would have aimed for, again, Sanctification, but this is looking... When I look at this build, I'm not so sure anymore. So we got the Reptile. Leo is dead. And that is the first kill that Drastic Measures was able to log in for themselves. And Muradin with the Avatar. Also Napalm. A bit more here. And Tyrael is still teasing. He's still teasing. He's teasing, and we're just waiting for the play. That's, by the way, an amazing skin. I love that skin and tint. Oh, it's awesome. It's really, really good. Judgment! Boom! And he's alive. How did they not kill him? Seriously? That really looked like they could get the kill here, but nobody followed up on it, and now Malfurion is down. Malfurion is dead, and so is Vala. It is a sad moment for the team. Yeah, they go down in flames. A YOLO arrow is being thrown out here just to hope and get a kill against Junkrat. But look at this play. Judgment comes in, they see an opportunity, and it's looking great, especially with the stun from Vala. And then nobody follows up with the final few hits against him. and they gotta retreat. Deckard Cain gets away, the old geezer alive, 6 kills to 1, the fight turned on direct measures. If they get Deckard, then it's a different play, but nope. They lose everything here, and maybe their hopes to go to the next round of the tournament as well. Level 13 is ready. We already have the top lane under control of Washed Up. They go for Punisher number 2. Deckard Cain is juking once again, which is pretty impressive at his age. You wouldn't expect that from somebody that is like 500 years old. He's as old as time itself. Moves like it too, but somehow he's still able to juke them. The Potion of Revival. And the Bronze Beard Rage, whereas up towards the top, Sergeant Hammer is already taking one of these out. Oh yeah, that arrow. That arrow's on his way to Miami. Once around the globe, baby. Once around the globe. First a little visit to, I guess, China, and then back to America. So, with the Punisher at the top and Sergeant Hammer pushing, and the camp that they just claimed, they can really pack a punch here, and maybe even take the keep down. As it stands, it's a disaster for Drastic Measures. They're also a talent behind, which we shouldn't forget. Level 13 is also kind of helpful. 26,000 damage for Vala isn't bad. Hanzo has 28, but with the Frozen Punisher, that makes matters worse because it's just so impactful against these keeps and forts. So the structures are getting attacked here. Riptire is out. This thing is down to 50% HP. They might not be able to claim it. The defense is so far doing a decent job, but it's way too much damage, only 9.5 minutes into the game. You really want to prevent that. Judgment is in, but there's no follow-up. Blade is going deep and is still able to save himself and jump back out, but the problem is simply that they're not getting any kills. Once again, the sleeper scenario for Banana H, as Deckard Cain is telling boring stories again that put everybody's patience to the test. Vala somehow gets out. And here come the extra level 13 talents, and they're fighting back. They're trying to get these kills, but they just can't. Deckard Cain is popping potions, and they finally drop one. They get Leo again. 2 times that they took him down. But then again, he's also only a skin and bones. So yeah, 1.5 level lead now for the blue team. Deckard Cain just sitting there time and time again and telling one boring story after another. But yeah, he's kind of wild. Alright, bottom of the map. They're looking for experience. They know that the next objective, they need level 16 for it. It will probably be the only big fight that they can really get here. Probably be the only one. So, well, at this point, Quasar's already moving back out again. Trying to jump a little bit deeper here. Quasar. They go for the damage. Yeah, but he is still Gucci. Alright. Oh boy. If they can somehow manage to get back to level 16 talents at the same time, it would be kind of cool to see some team fights where both of the teams are at least even in talents. But right now, the blue team is just pushing their advantage that they have, as they should. They should try to capitalize on this as much as they can, and they're doing the best they can right now. So yeah. How's that? Nick, yeah, there's the Entomb. They go for Vala. Big jump, big Storm Bolt. Ult is being used by Malfurion, but Vala dies regardless. They just can't keep her alive. Vala down, but at least they were making sure that the rest of the team got away. So they survived through all of this, but now the pressure at the bot lane is on, and they're trying to take the next thing down here. So, yeah. Getting a little bit dangerous for them, especially since the shrine is now announced, and I do not see a way for them to get to level 16 in time. Looking at the minimap, yeah, this is pretty much the only big wave that they can get. And first of all, they have to think about keeping that fort, the keep in play. Blaze isn't even here, but it doesn't even matter. The Riptire can push them back a little bit, and they aim for Quasar again, identifying him as the weakling today. Leo died twice already. Quasar is still pretty much a beast, but he's the only one that has fallen so far on the team. 17 to 16 in a moment. Nobody has gone for the shrine yet. They have a chance to fight with even talents. They actually do. Here's level 16. That gives us Manticore. It's not too bad. The Entomb is out again. No, 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 not now. Just as they fought so hard to get another one. They are losing Malfurion and Vala. Oh boy, that just hurts. Oh god, that is it. That has to be it. Just when it looked so good for them to maybe force another fight on even talents, this one happens, and yeah, they have to take the keep down before they can go for the core. Which I think they didn't realize that the top keep was still there. The Quasar is gonna die. So yeah, he's down, but he took Junkrat with him. And now, of course, the core is open. And with Sergeant Hammer, they can take this one easily. 12 kills to 3. Great game. Still kudos to Drastic Measures. They did a great job here, but Washed Up was just a bit too strong at the end. A 2-1 victory for the blue team as they move on to the next round of the first qualifier for the Heroes International for Europe. GG. Well played. Nicely done by the blue team.